the Dutch.
Silence!
No one believes in the Dutch.
Don't ruin his chances.
So we'll have a look how the opening goes, and Anish is starting quite cautiously with, well, it's still, we could say in English, but this move is mainly aimed at getting back into a Queen's Gambit or something similar. And Anish is just playing, well, a Reti kind of setup, so he's not committing his d pawn to d4. He's waiting to see how the action goes. Knight comes out, White brings his knight out, and in these positions Black's always got to think, do I take this pawn or not? There's pros and cons of taking that pawn. I mean, one downside is you let this bishop become a better piece, and White can always take that pawn back, but it does, at least clarify the position. This is a much more testing move, I think, and Sindarov is really, he likes playing aggressive chess, and we saw this actually in the World Championship match between Gukesh and Ding quite a lot. Ding playing black in these types of position. This was one of the openings that was really fought over in that World Championship match. And now just d3, simple move. The knight comes out to defend this pawn, and White castles. White normally has to play a move like e3 here before Black can cement his centre, because this is one opening where Black gets a space advantage with this pawn here. You don't really want that to settle. So, okay, sensible move, bishop develops, and now the knight comes out because the knight is looking at targeting that bishop in some lines.
Yeah, it's also just to mention that there's another approach for White. White could put the knight out on a3, although I don't think it's as popular. And the whole point is that you want to put your knight to c2, go b3, bishop a3, and then try to get a b4 going. And you're kind of acknowledging that Black has control over the center, but you've got compensation because White is superior on the queen side. So knight a3, knight c2. If you manage to get b4 in one swoop, excellent. If you have to slow play it, so be it. But it's not the most popular idea. It's in fact way more popular to do what Anish did, so which is to go knight d2 and then just ask the questions to the bishop.
And that's exactly what he did. I mean, now that bishop is, it's a target, and you kind of like to play this move, but you can't really play this move now because of c5, and the bishop's going to look very funny on a5. I mean, it could just be lost later on that square with a3 and b4 at some point when you get the knight out of the way. So you have to think of another plan, and the bishop came back. So quite peculiar idea from Black. Maybe Black is thinking that the knight could even be on an inferior square there, and in the meantime Black's got castled. So we get up to the current position. You have to really play this move as White, as we mentioned, because you've got to challenge that pawn there. You can't start playing slow moves here, I think, because Black's going to build up the centre and cement it. So this is certainly the right move to play. And now Black captures. You could try this move as Black, but I expect Sindarov was concerned that after pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn, that this might be a bit of a weakness now, because you're kind of defending it with two pieces, White's attacking it with two pieces. So you have to be a little bit worried that there might somehow become a bit more pressure on that pawn.
Well, typical ideas for White would be take control of the e-line, rook e1, put the bishop out, and as you mentioned, start targeting the d4 pawn. And I think instead, it's really interesting, this position, because
got up from the board to take a walk around. Here we go. But Sindarov only just realises the blunder here. Anish looks at him, totally surprised, looks at him again, has a sip of water, and they both start laughing. It's a really weird moment during this. This is only about move. It was kind of like, look, there we go. So, and you can see here, Sindarov, as soon as he makes that move, he's like, I could have won a pawn, and he could have won a pawn for free. Anish should realise this, and they both have a little joke about it. It's so strange. I mean, for some reason, this game was destined to be a draw, wasn't it?
Well, it was destined to be a draw, but